I don't know what it is. I just, like... I finished the pass, and then it just... I stopped. You can tell that, like... I haven't played much ever since I finished the pass, because I'm like... I didn't have a reason to. Which stinks, but it's just how it is. Miku! Oh god. Oh! Dude's got a problem. That's not a superhero. That's not a real one. I'm just gonna... On one hand, I'm like... That's a lot of wins in this season, because, you know, 43 wins is still a lot. But, like, at the same time... This season's been going on a while. Like, I feel like this one has been a bit too long of a season. I think the mask, like the mouthguard piece, is broken on this skin. Huh. I love the fact that I can literally spawn in the storm. That's so funny. Like, thanks, game. I appreciate that. Fortnite. I wish it was still Simpsons Fortnite. If it was Fortnite, that would be a lot better. I genuinely miss Simpsons, Simpsons Fortnite so much. It was probably my favorite season they've done in a long time. I would really appreciate if, like, they brought it back for, like, Reload. That would be awesome. Alright. Dude, I'm trying to do quests. Please fuck off. How did you... Why am I the one alive and you the one dead? Like, that seriously seems like you fucked that one up. That... Hey, that's the visitor. Where is that shooting happening? Oh, I see him. I hit a damn tree. So, like, because they made all of the 7, like, celebrity cameos, all of the 7 that they're bringing back are, like, different reality versions, which is probably a good idea, in all honesty, because it makes it so that they can actually, number one, release them as skins again, for people who want them. It probably sucks for, like, the super lore-heavy people, but if I remember correctly, they didn't really like, The 7 deadly skins. Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, there were 9 different 7 skins, which is an insane thing to say, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And right now you can only buy one of them. And that is the Order, the one in red. I have a few of the 7 skins because I did get, I did join during a time where a 7 skin was available, and that's the one who was, Brie Larson. And I was just like, damn, this is cool. It looks like Captain Marvel. Where did this person go? I guess they probably went down. Damn. But yeah, like, the Foundation was The Rock. Brie Larson was... not Paradigm. She was... was she Paradigm? I don't know, actually. But yeah, they're all the somethings. I have no idea what Fortnite is doing at this point. Me neither. Me neither. I'm just hoping in vain that they eventually do a Sword Art Online wave, and then I'll be happy. That's the one goal. I could have sworn I saw someone moving over there. Oh well. It's still a very much a fun video game. I just don't fully know what they're doing with it. Only Galgun? Galgun is a different series. You mean Gun Gale, but Galgun is another thing. I think that's a... I think that's a shmup Galgun. Like, I know what you mean, but yes, Gun Gale would 100% make the most sense as a, look, my brain don't work, that's fair. It would by far make the most sense for an SAO collab, because, like, you know, Gun Gale Online is literally an FPS battle royale, but hold on. I'm trying to... Galgun is a thing. Hold on. Oh my god, It's a 2011 rail shooter. Yes! Yes, I know what this is. Yeah. It's... Oh, god damn it, Whoever invented the WebP image type, stop it. Why are you like this? Literally no one likes it. No one enjoys the WebP images. These. All of... there's like 500 of these. But yeah, the Gun Gale as an idea for this is a good idea, in my opinion. Video game for sure. Yeah, they are indeed fact video games. I have a terrible feeling, because it's probably not going to actually come out, but there has been a live-action SAO in, like, planning and production for years now, and I have a terrible feeling that if that series gets in here, it's going to be that, and that would be the worst option. Don't worry, it will somehow worse. I mean, it's not difficult. There has never been a single time where there has been a decent live-action anime adaptation. We should just stop making things live-action. I feel like it misses more than it hits. Like, in general. Well, I guess I'll land there. But yeah, I think having the Gun-Gale skins would be a smarter idea than the Aincrad skins. And that's not just because I think that GGO Kirito is a better design, and also because, you know, it lets her be a girl, which is kind of, you know, an important thing. It's literally just, it makes more sense than Aincrad. And it would also give, it would give the game a free chance to give out the Kagamitsu G4, which is a purple lightsaber. It literally makes lightsaber noises in the anime. Like, you literally could just, like, make a real, like, you could give characters lightsabers if you did this. This dude doesn't even realize I'm here. I love stealth mechanics in video games. They're never stupid. Gotta spread the Kirito trans gospel. Yeah. That's not... part of me is just like, I think I just got killed by a bot there. Because that's just not how people name accounts. I just realized I tried to open Discord with File Explorer. I may honestly be, like, the dumbest woman alive. Like, straight up. Is Gun-Gale also a fucked up and evil game? In universe, like, the Gun-Gale, like, you know, it has the whole gambling for money thing. It's not incredibly secure with, like, its servers. And, technically, the way it's operated, it's using, like, numerous shell companies in order to, like, avoid paying taxes or whatever. But overall, it's just, like, it's kind of just Arc Raiders. It's not an evil game. You just had one dude using... I mean, technically... You know what? Spoilers. People were using it as a way to kill people. Like, but no, there was no actual way for people to die in Gun Gale. That just sounds like the average MMO that's been running since the 2000s. That's what Alfheim Online is. Alfheim Online, which is the second game they go to in SAO, that is the one where, you know, you get to fly around as, like, different fantasy races and stuff. That one is, that one canonically has been around longer than SAO. It was originally not a VR game, and Suguha Kirigaya played that while, like, as a kid as well, and then got back into it once Kirito got trapped in Sword Art Online. And eventually, after Kirito and Akihiko Kayaba released the SAO engine to the world, they rebooted the game using that engine, and yeah, that's basically that. When did they go to the Webkins type shit? If I remember correctly, in Unital Ring, which is the most recent one, there's, like, when, you know, they have, like, all of these games that are connected via the seed engine. I think one of the games that are connected in that is, it was a game that I believe Kirito used to play as well, which is you play as a bunch of bugs, like mantises and stuff, so you get to be, like, a humanoid bug. So I guess that's closer to Club Penguin than Webkins. Yeah. Kirito, we're fucked, we're stuck in Club Penguin. Damn it, we're owned by Disney now. I haven't read Unital Ring. I should at some point, but I just haven't. Because reading is for nerds. But yes, I do think it's funny that the longest, like, the arcs that are the longest in Sword Art Online are not in a video game. That's Underworld and War for Underworld. Or, I think it's technically Alicization and War for Underworld are the titles, but they're just both Underworld, and those are the longest portions. And while technically also, like, those are the anime names, but technically in between, well, at the end of what is considered War for Underworld, they have another incredibly long arc of 200 years in Moon Cradle. Reading is for nerds, that's why anime fans can't understand themes even when the characters directly state them. Okay, I get to talk about something tangentially related. It's not Sword Art Online, it's Death Note. Because I saw people online claiming that Light did not turn into a Shinigami when he died. Which, like, in addition to just, like, the anime making it incredibly apparent of what happened, Light, like, the very beginning of Death Note, it specifically says that if a human uses the Death Note, there is no heaven or hell for them. Like, they cannot go to heaven or hell if they use the Death Note, which makes sense, because what they are doing, in effect, is becoming a mortal god of death. So, of course, they're frickin', like, they're kind of both punishment and, like, reward for interacting with something that they shouldn't have, is that they are doomed to become that same god of death and never move forward, because, you know, the entire thing about heaven and hell is it allows people to move forward from their past, and, you know, either atone or... It's like, there is no atonement, you are literally just, you have become a devil. Like... That's probably a little fucked up if you used it by accident. The warning is on the first page. Once again, have not actually watched. Only the first half is good. The second half is fanfiction and not even the good or fun kind. Like, it is genuinely, like... I don't like disparaging anyone who writes fanfiction just because, you know, you're sharing, like... You're sharing stuff with the world, you know? You're doing it for no monetary... gain. You're doing it for your own fun and enjoyment. The latter half of Death Note introduces characters that are the equivalent of, like, the infinite power OCs that people would create when they were in middle school. And there's nothing wrong with that if you are not... if you are a fanfiction writer or, like, just a fan of something, there's nothing wrong with that. If that is, like, if that is canon, I have an issue with that just because it means that, like, you've given up. Like, I get it. You wrote yourself into a hole, but that hole, I think, is a better ending than what you decided to make afterwards. There is a very specific point. If you do ever watch Death Note, I'm not going to spoil it. But, or I guess not as much as I already have. But, like, it's just like, you will know when the main series ends and the animated fanfiction begins. And it's not even, like... It's not good. It's not, like... Like, I can say with, like, certainty, it's like, I have gone on record saying that the Percy Jackson movies are fan fiction, but they're incredibly fun for what they are. They're like, you know... If you don't take them as 100% gospel, they are completely fun, fine, like... I refer to them as popcorn movies. It's something to just, you know, you're snacking, you're having a good time, you're chatting with friends or whatever, and you're kind of half watching it. But, you know, it's like a good thing, you know, it's not terrible. Death Note is like, why? Why are you doing this? This is a mistake in every sense of the word. I'm a firm believer that if a story doesn't hold up after it's been storied, it's not that good of a story, unless the entire point is, like, a mystery. That's fair. I mean, it is a very common, like, tactic that writers will use, and authors. Like, I believe that methodology of writing begins with, like, Shakespeare, where he was like, he tells you what happens at the end of the story immediately. Like, he tells you that, you know, Romeo and Juliet die. Like, there is no happy ending for them. But the entire point is not the fact that they die. The ending is not what matters. It is the characters and the journey to get there. So, I mean, like, I get that. It's how we got here. Yeah. But Death Note is kind of... It's a murder mystery where you know, like... You know the murderer. That's the thing. It's a murder mystery where you know the murderer immediately, and the entire thing is, like, trying to prove that they're the murderer. So you kind of have to, like... It's one of those things where you don't specifically want to spoil how things go. Because, like... There are elements of it. So Columbo, but from the killer's point of view, yes. But imagine if, like, there is also, like, imagine if the killer was on Columbo's level, like, mentally, and they're playing, like, a proper, like, mental gymnastics game where, like, both of them are equal and, like, trading blows. That is the best way to, like, describe it. And you know, what's weird is that Light, despite being the murderer, is the one who dresses like Columbo. I made a joke about this before that people did not appreciate, but I said, you know, considering the fact that Light is the son of a cop, he turned out a lot better than a lot of them do. Objectively, probably the least amount of people that the son of a cop has killed, and also actually, not finishing that sentence. Not finishing it. We're gonna get to spoiler territory with that one. That is my favorite thing. Is like people who I've seen this joke online, which is that like, oh, you're telling me that this kid who was raised by a cop has a very inadequate and improper stance on morality and, like, crime? Who could have predicted this? If you have ever seen those, like, videos of, like... It's like the famous example is, like, Light and L at Burger King. Like, those, like, parody videos are almost spot on for how every interaction in the series goes, and it is some of the most amazing shit on Earth. Like, genuinely, like, that is just, like, that is honestly more canon to Death Note than the latter half of the actual Death Note. Light would crack under the pressure of Columbo, because the thing about Columbo is he's very unassuming and very easily underestimated. Think I've seen the one with Angry Birds? Yeah. The thing is, like, L is a lot like Columbo. They just speak more eloquently and dress less eloquently. They're both, like, fairly unassuming. Whether or not Light would be defeated by Columbo is, like... It's hard to say. Because... I guess I'll go into... You said you don't mind spoilers, so I guess it doesn't matter. Light is an extreme overthinker, and I think Columbo would be able to take advantage of that. Yeah. I also think that, like, Columbo would honestly be able to, like, might actually falter a little bit with Light because of how they are. And what I mean by that is they are literally, like, you have to remember this is, like, a college student, essentially. They're still, like, a teenager. Like, they're not perfect at, like, everything. So, like, a lot of their problems could easily be taken off as, like, actual jitters. Can you not move anymore when you have the self-revive device? Oh shit, wrong direction. It didn't let me move after getting back up. That's awesome. Columbo also has his favorite tactic of consistent harassment. It's still just L. Like, the thing is, people always say, like, oh, Columbo would beat Light. But the thing is, it's like, L is just Columbo. Like, there is very little difference between the two characters. Like, in terms of, like, their actual intellect and, like, skills with how they do things. And, like, L, like, Light outsmarts L and wins. Like, that's why the second half of the series doesn't matter. Because you introduce other detectives that are literal just, like, complete and utter bullshit OCs with, like, mind-reading powers and, like, genuine, like, bullshit of just, like, I always know when you're lying, and Columbo is not as prideful, though. I don't know if L is particularly prideful. I think L's entire thing is, like, he already knows just by intuition, and he's trying to, like, prove it to everyone, I guess. Hey. It's us. It's me. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. From my understanding, Alpha is a very specific in-universe detective code. Yeah, kinda. It's weird, and it's also been a while since I've watched. Like, but yeah, basically, like, Light wins. It doesn't matter that Light got captured or died at the end. Like, it doesn't matter. Because he won the fight that mattered. He went up against someone he considered his intellectual equal, outsmarted them, and got away with it. Like, and beyond that point, it no longer matters, because the interactions between L and Light are the entire series that it's based upon. Like, it's never about the criminals, it's only about, it's only about, like, their interactions, and how they are incredibly gay. Columbo does have the upper hand, though. No one knows his fucking first name. They do reveal it in, like, one episode. Like, they show his ID for, like, maybe 6 frames. But, yeah, L's name is never actually unveiled at any point, because Light is able to get around that requirement through his method of outsmarting L, which is, like, a fucking master plan that is insane to a degree where I was just like, yeah, this motherfucker deserved to win. He did it. Like, he outsmarted the fuck out of everyone. It's a battle of wits, yep. And then you get into some actual, like, psycho kids that were, like, raised in the woods to be, like, the greatest detectives of all time. Like, that are, like, psychic or whatever, and, like, they have bad personalities and aren't fun to watch, and are, like, the epitome of, like, what... Like, they may be some of the only actual Mary or Gary Sues in fiction. Like, you're like, this is, like, actual torture to watch. It's not even, like, a battle of wits. It's a battle of, do you want to continue watching this? No. And it's barely a battle. It's like, it's sunk cost fallacy at a certain point. The only battle going on is, like, whether or not to continue watching. And I genuinely believe that, no, you do not have to finish watching Death Note. It is one of the few anime where I'm just like, don't bother. Do not bother watching to the end of it. There is no point. You gain nothing by watching the latter half. As soon as L gaily dies in Light's arms, like, that's it. Like, that is the end. From that point, it doesn't matter, because it stopped being... For Light, it stopped being about becoming a god of death. It was all about L. It was about outsmarting him, proving himself better. And he did. And that's, like, it doesn't matter. Beyond that point, it doesn't matter. Like... At that point, it seriously and honestly is no longer worth... Okay, I guess I'll just go inside the normal way. It is not worth any of... Like... It is not worth any of your time. It has nothing to do with the emotional and, like, important core of the series, which is the interactions between these two characters on the other side of the law from each other, who essentially are, like... in a weird way, they are essentially star-crossed lovers. And they are the only two people that they consider each other equal, but they want to, like, actually prove themselves better than the other. And it's a battle of morality, it's a battle of wit, and it's a battle between, like, their own affections and what it is. Because at the end of the day, they were still friends. Like, they in spite of what happened, in spite of the fact that they always assumed that they were against each other, and were against each other, they genuinely did grow to care about each other, and became genuine friends. It just so happened that the circumstances that led to that were them being pitted against each other. It is such an incredible dynamic between the two that is completely thrown away for no good reason. It feels like the way... Yeah, it is a tragedy in a way. And the fact is, because Light is doomed to become a Shinigami, and L is going to either go to heaven or hell, depending on, you know, how they are, like, they will never meet again. Like, the one person that both of them considered, like, their closest is no longer a part of their life for eternity. And that, I think, is a really cool dynamic. It is a tragedy, and it is, like, what you've done is you've created an excellent story, an excellent dynamic, and you've really, like, you've truly, you know, found, like, a fuck you, Forest Wizard Detectives. I don't even understand. I don't even remember fully what, like, the actual, like, the actual things are, because they're just so bad. It is genuine bullshit circumstances. Everything that happens in Death Note, because they've made spin-off mangas and stuff like that, that are just bad and worthless and just stop. It is one of the things where I'm just like, I feel like it feels like the author's hand was forced by, like, Shonen Jump or something to have it go on longer than it was intended. That is my hot take on it. When do they make the slight inconvenience note? That's a good question. I mean, theoretically, you could slightly inconvenience it. Because the thing with the Death Note is you can, like... You dictate the future with it. And then, like... like, it just so happens that at the end of it, it always results in death. Like, you could very easily just write out exactly what happens to someone, and then, like, say, oh, that, like, this person becomes super successful, or this dude, like, stubs their toe 5 billion times, and then dies of old age, 30 years down the line. Like, there is no, like, you can be so specific with it that, like, it goes far beyond death in the Death Note. That is the best way to describe it. Oh my god, I forged so much momentum that I got blasted out of the building. Hold on. So Light is just an uncreative son of a bitch? No! It's the fact that, like, they had a purpose with it. They wanted to cleanse the world of all crime, which is never going to happen in any way, shape, or form. But, yeah. Like, Light had an end goal of, you know, that they wanted to be a god. But, you know, it stopped being about that, but his entire use of the Death Note was through his mind making people suffer for the suffering that they have caused. Once again, you know, just very skewed morality on that one. And he did use it a few times, like, on people who were, like, actively committing crimes, like hostage situations and stuff like that. So he did occasionally use it for good. It just so happens that his entire sense of morality is really fucked up. I think he is an incredible character, and I think people do not give him the flowers that he deserves. Especially since Goku teaches him ki control in Jump Force. That motherfucker is genuinely TN tier human. Do you think Batman could beat Light? But I remembered his man barely hides his identity, has the subtlety of a cinder block to the fucking skull. He's dead within the hour. Yeah, Batman's kind of fucked, unfortunately. Like, Adam West Batman, he wins. Every other Batman does not. Adam West Batman finds the reverse Death Note. Adam West Batman has the Life Note. Depends on how the comic writers feel that day. To be fair, that's mostly how... It depends how much the comic writers hate the characters. So, like... Given that Batman is a main character, he is kind of fucked from the start. Because there are very few times that, like, they're going to give that man a break. feel like I had a fifth dimensional imp to give me this anti-Death Knight suit. Motherfucker learned from the Buddhist monks how to avoid the Death Note. Or Tibetan, sorry. I got my Batman lore mixed up there for a second. What didn't the Tibetan monks teach that man? Like, Jesus. But yeah, no, I do think Batman would not be able to beat Light. The Tibetan monks taught about it. See Shinigamis. Technically, all you need to do is either touch the book. Like you can see them if you touch the Death Note, or give half of your lifespan away to a Shinigami to have. No, those are the eyes. That's different. Never mind. Yeah, all you have to do is touch the book. So theoretically, because there are multiple Death Notes, you could say Batman already has one and is just, like, keeping it. Like, just you know, for safety purposes. Given the fact that technically Kirito is an investigative person for the Japanese government, in SAO 2 and onward, Kirito would probably win because, like, Kirito has murdered a lot of, not a lot, quite a few people. And while, like, he does try to keep his name fairly unknown, it wouldn't be that hard to find. But technically, I'm not sure if you'd be able to kill Kirito via the Death Note method, because the name, like, according to the games and, like, the series, they begin to identify themselves more as Kirito than Kazuto Kirigaya. And also the fact that technically, if it's going off of birth names, you're going through another layer that is going to be entirely in government documents, which is the fact that their name is Kazuto Narusaka. Narusaka. Kirito wins because her transgender name isn't out to the public yet. It's Kiriko. It is actually out in the public. This is a real thing. It's not a... From SAO2 Extras, where you find out that, canonically, Asuna is really into the idea of Kirito being a girl, teaching Kirito to be a girl, and the fact that, canonically speaking, Kirito has, in fact, taken clothes from their sister/cousin. But yes, because if you're going off of birth names, you're not going to find that from Kirito, because they're going to be introduced as either Kirito, Kazuto or Kazuto Kirigaya, which they have been going by since they were 2. Oh, stream died? Damn, unfortunate. They don't want to hear the truth about... They don't want to hear the truth about frickin' SAO. But yeah, Kirito's birth name is Narusaka Kazuto. Are we alive? Are you back? Am I back? Who is what and where is when. I think, okay. But yeah, technically I don't think the name rule for the Death Note would work on Kirito, because they identify with the name Kirito more than they do with their name of Kazuto Kirigaya. They're, like, they also, like, you know, most likely are transgender, so the name is going to be different regardless, and it would possibly be Kiriko based off of SAO2 extras. And then you have the fact that if the Death Note is entirely, like, based on birth name and nothing more, then they're fucked, because there are, like, very few government records of Kirito's birth name, which is Narusaka Kazuto, because when their parents died, they were taken in by their cousin's family, so they were taken in by their aunt and uncle. So their name changed from Narusaka to Kirigaya. And it's also incredibly important to mention this, because Kirito is mishmashing together, like, Kazuto and Kirigaya. Had they kept their birth name, Kirito's in-game name would be Naruto, because their name is Narusaka Kazuto. Because it takes the Kiri from Kirigaya and the To from Kazuto. So it would be Naruto, because under the same set of logic. And I do believe that Reki has actually gone on record on saying that was intentional. It's a better follow-up to Naruto than Boruto is. Fuck Boruto. Boruto fucking sucks. I need to check. Yeah, it is in fact Narusaka Kazuto. Yes, I was correct. Hell yeah. Shout out to my girl Approximate Knowledge for bashing all Kirito information into my head with a hammer. Shout out Approximate Knowledge on Tumblr. Shout out Trans Kirito Truther on Tumblr, who made the excellent GIF over in the corner. I think most Naruto fans would think an Anthrax envelope is a better follow-up to Naruto than Boruto. I have found out for some unknown reason Boruto has shooters, and I don't get it. I truly and honestly don't. Like, they didn't even finish making the anime. They just gave up on it. Like, I think that's a pretty good, like, example of its quality. Its animation was also dog shit, but that's also probably because the story was dog shit and they didn't feel like giving it any money. How are you alive? Die. What? 1 health. Damn. I may have lost in the top 3, but at least I have the dignity of knowing I was never a Boruto fan. Oh, I can't unlock anymore. It lied. Okay. Anthrax envelope. That's such a good quote. I love that. I don't know why. Boruto has shooters for it, and I truly and honestly do not understand why. Industry plants. Not incorrect. There was an actual industry plant Shonen Jump character that they tried pushing heavily for a while. I forget what his name was. It was around the same time as Boruto, so they had a lot of flops on their hand at the time. Toriko? What was it? Toshiko? Hold on. I'm just gonna look up Shonen Jump industry plant, because I'm pretty sure... Really? It doesn't show up? Come on now. Wait, is it Shueisha that I'm thinking of? Because that was... No, because that... No, it's still Shonen Jump. Okay, blue hair guy... Shonen Jump. God damn it. It's... Who the fuck are you? I can't... They immediately buried him when his show didn't do good. What was... Fuck, man, I can't even think of it. Why are you a... Why are you a square? It had a crossover with Dragon Ball and One Piece. I remember that. No. Yes! Yes! I found the fucker. Oh my god, he's ugly. Hold on. We do love the nerd. That's our boy. He does come up with very creative insults. I'm just going to drop myself in this bush. That way I can continue. It is Toriko. Okay. Yes, this fucker. This blue fucker. His literal first anime, episode, was a crossover with One Piece and Dragon Ball. It was a crossover between, One Piece and Dragon Ball. Because they were trying to put, so much behind Toriko, and no one remembers this dude. Because they are the most, industry plant character that Shonen Jump has ever created. He looks like a JoJo X Dragon Ball fan art character found on DeviantArt in the year 2013. You're not incorrect. That's a very accurate description of what he looks like. Yeah, no, he sucks. In fact, actually, I don't know if he sucks. No one's seen his show. There is not a single Toriko fan out there. I can guarantee you. That's not true. Everyone is someone's favorite something, it's just a fact. It's like how every Pokemon is someone's favorite. I'm sure there is a single person out there who really likes Toriko. And you know what? At least it's its own thing. At least it isn't just a worse version of Naruto. Fella is broker than Crash Bandicoot. Given the fact that you're a Crash Bandicoot fan saying that, that must really, like, sting, don't it? I like Coco Bandicoot. The only reason I like the new versions of the game better is because it allows me to play as a female character. Wait, hold on. I have to, like, jump into that? Oh, hold on. Damn it! Oh, shit. Wait a minute, this will work, I think. Crash don't make COD money, so he's now in hell. Well, maybe they should have put him in Skylanders sooner. I don't think they had the license to do it. Yeah, yes, they did. They owned Spyro. Did that... Wait, those are two different companies who made those games, wasn't it? Alright, yeah. I forgot about that. I thought they was just... I always forget how fucked up those licensing things were. I feel bad for Spyro. Because objectively speaking, I'm gonna be honest, I think the Spyro games were better than the Crash games were. And that's not just because I like dragons, but I do like dragons. In fact, I would say that I'm not even a fan of Spyro as a character. I think his gameplay is just better. I like Crash more because the playstyle is a lot different than everything else. I feel like I like Spyro because I think his gameplay is a lot less generic than Crash's, so maybe I think we're both, like, thinking about it in two different ways. I think there's a difference between us. What the fuck? This lost time. King Crimson. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm not a fan of, I'm not a big fan of Crash because I think the way that the platforming is designed with the camera angle is not great. I don't think that the angle that they have is very cohesive to precision platforming, which, dear God, does it fucking require. Sweet, self-revive device. Spyro's another collectathon. Crash I cannot find corridor platformers like it. Crash 1 is just bullshit. I think all the Crashes are kinda bullshit, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you, with my opinions being what they are. Please, let me roll. I don't like the camera angles in Crash Bandicoot. I think that they are not great for doing platforming. Spyro does have some mechanics that separate it from other collectathons, but I get what you mean. I get, like, what you mean with, like, the stylistic ones. So, like, I get it. I get what you mean entirely. So, yeah, I get you. I think that's all for now. We can still text about this, but I do not have any more energy for Fortnite or stream.